Greetings and blessings. Crawford Ashley here, the spiritual boxer, and I'm going to talk about boxing again, as I always do. Well, I'm just going to give a bit of insight into training and why I train and shit like that. I remember when I retired from boxing, and I was out for about 2 years, and then I got a gym. And at the time I wasn't ready for a gym. I'd been boxing since the age of 7. I had my first fight when I was 11. And I think I retired a couple of months before my 38th birthday. And I've got all them years, 30 odd years, to simulate what I'd learned and what I'd got, so I can pass on to the next generation. But at the time when I had the gym, I didn't have that, I don't know what it's called, you know, the way of expressing how to do certain moves, or even being able to explain how things work. It took me about 14, 15 years to simulate everything, so now I can teach it, and I know how to teach it, and I can get the best out of people, because everything clicked into place. And it was like through depression, I felt completely and utterly worthless. Like my children and my family better off without me. Just a waste of space. And I did another video on here called Not Wanted. I mean, if you have a look at that, you can kind of see where I was at. And I realised I am wanted, but not where I was then. I needed to go through what I had to go through to become the person I am, so I can teach. And it's like when you're in the dark and you're thinking the light at the end of the tunnel. No, you are the light, and it's that bright that it blinds you, you can't see it. It's only when you take a step back and you realise that that place you're in is the place where you grow. You know, and you come out of there, you've become used to the light, you become whatever you call that word, accustomed to the light. And then things start happening for you. It's like for me, a couple of years ago, my boy phoned me up and asked me if I'd teach him to box. So all I've been waiting for was the right person to come along who wanted to take on what I'd learned. And now I've been with him 2 or 3 years, and we're at that level that he wants to go pro. And this is the kind of, with the right people behind him, the right backing behind him, he'll be a world champion in 5 years. And I have that belief in him, just because of the way he talks, the way he asks questions, and the way he's willing to put the work in. He trains harder than I've ever trained, and he's fighting 3-minute rounds. He's fighting 3 2-minute rounds. But like they say, when the pupil's ready, the teacher will appear. But also when the teacher's ready, the pupil will appear. Because you need them both. You need the right student, right pupil, and the right trainer. Some trainers could be really good trainers, but for a certain person they don't fit. It don't fit. And for somebody else it does, it gels, they can get the best out of them. And like with me, I like working on technique and the mental aspect and the mental side of boxing. And a lot of the training I do with Theo is when I'm taking him to the gym. When he's at home, I'll pick him up and take him to the gym and take him back home. We do a lot of talking in the car, and we talk about boxing and we talk about life. Because boxing is life, it's kind of like joint and stuck together. But the things that are going on now, it's like my mate says to me, I've got to get away from that old school business and think of like YouTube and building him up. But he's just a nice guy. He's a nice kid. And all these need a backstory about having a bad life and having this, that and upbringing. But he ain't had that. You know, we had, me and his mum had a bit of a torrid time, but she did what she felt was best. And at the time probably was the best, because I needed my space to become who I needed to become. And sometimes if you're going through them bad and dark places, take yourself out of the environment, go away, get away. I was kind of lucky. When I was at one of my lowest points, I got a phone call from Tony, who was my agent, Tony Breen from London. Big thank you. He got me over to Portugal and I stayed with him for a couple of weeks. And then I met somebody and we went over to Thailand, and that's where I got better. It was in Thailand, because it was a completely different set of surroundings. There was different problems, different thought processes going on in my mind. So I got off all that negative shit that I was in England, because England's depressed. The country is depressed. When you go away and you come back after a couple of days, you can feel it. And it's getting round that depression. And I feel like when you're really in them bad spots, you need to just take yourself away from the environment you're in. If you can go for a walk, go for a walk, get out into nature. Or if you got the money, get yourself away, get yourself somewhere. And like, I've got some land in Jamaica. My dad died just before Christmas, or just after Christmas, no, just before Christmas. And I've got some land over there. And when I'm over there, I'm just so relaxed and so calm. And just, I wake up with the sun and I go to sleep just after sunset. And that'd be a nice place for ex-boxers who are kind of like struggling with what's going on. And I'd like to set up a base over there so they could come over and just chill out for a couple of months. You know what I mean? Help me build the place up. But that's all on the back burner. But right now, I'm in a position with the knowledge I've got and the overstanding and how to train. You know, it's time to pass it on. So if you know anybody who wants to learn to box, then give them my number or show them this video or whatever. And it's like, people who are already boxing, I find you lot kind of difficult to deal with, because you've got so much baggage. You will just empty your mind and come at it as a beginner. Beginners are easy to train. Easy to, well, I don't even like training. Easy to teach. Because for me, it's about getting the person you're looking after into the best condition possible. So he's got all the tools in his box. So when he goes in that ring, he is safe. And I remember being at an amateur show, and this kid was primed for an uppercut. And I kept shouting, uppercut, uppercut. He never threw it. When he came out of the ring, I went over to the corner. I said, why didn't you throw an uppercut? He went, what's an uppercut? I just looked at his trainer. And that is, wow. I don't understand how trainers are allowed to train children to box when they haven't got a fucking clue. It's one of the most dangerous contact sports there is. And the people who are teaching it haven't got a fucking clue. They haven't got a clue. And it's like, I was at my brother's, we was on about Tommy Bergen, the guy who first taught us to box. He didn't give a shit whether you won or lost, as long as you didn't get hit. If you're getting hit, you're doing something wrong. Move. Anyway, I'm not going to go on anymore. I'm going to leave this one, because I don't know if the camera cut off and then I'll be ranting and raving to myself. Anyway, if you like the vibe, please subscribe. Check that icon button bell for when I put up new videos, you get them. And yeah, drop me a message. My email address is thechilling9@gmail.com. I'll put it in the description below. Like I say, if you liked it, great, and hopefully I'll be getting some better equipment and I'll be able to do some more videos, technique, bits and bats. Till tomorrow, out.